Because if you don't, no one is going to do. This is dead on arrival.
Nope, the hardcore server is not dead on arrival. Stop dooming. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, before we get started, you know the drill. If you're new to my channel, please give a like and a sub. It really does help the channel. Drop a comment if at any point you disagree with what I'm saying. Let's get back to the video.
We felt that having all classes available could be overwhelming at launch.
To be fair to Blue, I had a similar reaction, but this video is not going to be about bashing Blue. Blue is who he is, and we love him for that. So keep doing you, Blue. Once the dev commentary came out last week about the hardcore server, there's still lots of questions to be answered, but the major announcement came out that the classes are going to be restricted, obviously, to Berzerker, Sorceress, Ranger, Warrior. Now that I have some time to think about it, I think they made the right choice. In this video, we're going to discuss what we know about the hardcore server, we're going to discuss what we don't know about the hardcore server, and then what I'm doing personally to get ready for the hardcore server, which comes out in 2 weeks, and what you can do too if you actually do want to play the mode. I'll post a quick breakdown of the 4 classes towards the end of the video, and I'm also going to have some links in the descriptions of different guides that you can go so you can prepare for the hardcore server. Okay, quickly, let's go over what we know so far. The hardcore server is a PvX, not PvP server. It's not just our show with standardized gear, and so far we don't know where the gear looks like. You collect points in this server through PvE or PvP and doing daily quests for in-game rewards in your actual account. We don't know what those rewards are so far, and I think that's going to be a key difference whether people actually play it or not. If you're really incentivized by it being some great silver, of course people are going to try it, even if they just go there just to kill some mobs, right? I would do it, you know, if it's like 4 billion silver, 5 billion silver by the end of 2 hours. Would you? I think that sounds pretty good. So like I stated before, in the first season, they're going with the OG throwback, which I don't know what that even means. Throwback to what? They're going with Warrior, Berzerker, Ranger, I almost said Tamer, and Sorceress, and it's going to be a dedicated character on this server. Now, we don't know if we get to choose Awakening or Suck. We don't know if the servers are going to be wiped daily. We don't even know if you get to customize add-ons, right? Because if you get pre-made add-ons, choosing a different character every day would be really cool. Although, you know, you want to be able to customize it to your liking. That's fine. I don't mind. And we also don't own crystals. What's going to happen with crystals? Who knows? They're also throwing in daily quests to help people kind of congregate in certain areas, I'm assuming. So, you know, like go kill this specific type of mob. Servers are open 24 hours a day, but you can only go in for 2 hours out of the 24 hours. And that's your limit. You're no longer able to go after the 2 hours. If you leave early before the 2 hours, you can also no longer go in. This means that not everybody will get to play with each other. Some people will be playing late night, some people will be playing mornings. All right, here we're gonna go over some game footage, see if we can find anything that we could pick out. One of the things I could pick out first was that we're gonna have gear that's broken or missing. If you see here, his helmet is broken and he's still fighting. Seems like we won't always have access to gear as we're going through this mode. Here, another thing that I was able to find is that add-ons are going to be in the game, whether they select it or we do. He gets an attack speed add-on here. Up next, this is the UI where you're going to see your time limit for the hardcore server, and right under it, I am assuming this is a time limit for the Clash of Fates, and the circle is going to enclose as time progresses. Up at the top, we have this compass here. You can see that it's signifying the Elton there, and it looks like we're going to have a bunch of points in the map that these little compass up here is going to be able to take us to. We can also see that the kill quests are going to be pretty short. It's about 200 monsters that you need to kill, and that 200 is going to go over to where your main points are, and that's just going to feed into here where there are the main points. Under it, you can see that Elton kill quest there. Here, I believe that this is a leaderboard of sorts where you're going to see all the highest points in the server. So if you're up there, people are going to try to find you. We can also see that you're going to level up pretty fast, and off to the side we see what gear might look like. I've seen up to 260, 240, so it doesn't look like we're going to be pushing up way too far. Here was interesting. I see that he has about an hour and 30 minutes to go, but he's already been able to attain over 5,000 points. I don't know if you need 2 hours to complete the 10,000 or what happens after 10,000, but I'm sure we'll have more answers here soon. And the servers go live on March 12th, March 13th for NA. That's about 2 weeks away, so get to practicing now. I'm sure in this next coming week or two, we're going to get more information of what's actually going to go down, what the classes look like, what the skills look like, and they're just going to fill in the holes that we just have questions on about. And hopefully that keeps pointing towards a good direction, because from the initial talk, they did a lot of good things aside from the classes being set this way, which now I'm not super against anymore, but we're going to talk about that right now. And I want to be straight with you. When I first heard about this, I wasn't very happy about it. I posted a short reacting to it. It wasn't a very positive short. It was like an emo cat just listening and having like his head down, like what the hell's going on. And that's exactly how I felt. I was not expecting this change. But in the long run, I think this is the right choice. Even though, you know, I've played Zerk for years, I know I could go into this with a leg up, and that doesn't make me happy because I know some people haven't played these classes at all. I know starting to learn some of these classes from scratch is going to be difficult, but that's okay. So if this server is wiped every day and the add-ons are all preset where you can just go really simply go from one class to another, whether it's 4 classes or 8 classes or whatever the amount of classes may be, because they haven't said anything about how many classes are going to be on every season. We're just making assumptions at this point. The next season could have all 28 for all we know. If it's really simple to switch from one class to another, that's not bad because I get to go in there and I just got to do a little bit of PvE and learn the kit more. And me as a person that likes to do PvP, I understand that knowing my classes that I'm fighting against, especially like if I'm fighting against a Zerk or something, I know its openings. If I'm fighting against a Guardian, I know its openings because I've played all of these classes extensively. So if this mode gives me an excuse to, you know, go play Warrior, God, go play Sorc, that I don't understand Sorc at all, play Ranger. I've always wanted to try the Ranger. This is a class that I thought that I maybe want to main. This makes me happy. So I can go to this mode not really knowing what I'm doing, but still kill mobs. I can always choose not to do PvP if I want to, because it is a PvX server. That's okay. If there's gonna be people there that know these classes better than I do, that's fine. I'm not there to compete to be like the best Zerker or the best sorceress in the game and reach some weird leaderboard. No, I'm just there to get some rewards, which hopefully are very good. And then, you know, also gang some people. I'm gonna be honest, that's what I want to go there for. I just want to jump and gang people. And if it turns out bad for me, okay, well, I made the bad choice, but I want to go out there and have fun. That's what I'm telling you I'm going to do. Now let's think about what would happen if we had all the classes available. Personally, I would go on Scholar because that is what I'm most comfortable with. A lot of people will meta chase. There's going to be a lot of Zerkers. There's going to be a lot of Mooses, a lot of classes that can engage in and out and just gank you forever. And that's not going to be no fun. Now we're getting rid of those meta chasers. And if it's a smaller roster, that creates a lot of balance problems that are being taken out just artificially because the other classes aren't there. We know PA is never going to get balancing right, and neither should it, because they all serve different purposes. Your class doesn't do as much damage as the other class. Well, I bet your class is a lot tankier and its purpose is not to do damage. The purpose is to get CCs. So do what it was meant for. Your class does a lot of damage. Well, I bet you're not tanky. You might have movement, but you know, you serve your purpose. You're a burst damage class. That's what you do. And you know, some classes are definitely overtuned, but that's a different discussion. So that leaves a lot of people in classes that are not going to be very good, and they're going to feel terrible when they go out there with other people that know exactly what they're doing. And now we're going to mode where a lot of people don't know what they're going to be doing, but they're going to be out here anyways.
But Rocket, what about the people who've been playing these classes for 7 years? What if Choice comes in and Thunderdomes your ass?
Get your head out of your ass. If unfortunately you happen to queue with Choice and he decides to run at you and put you in the Thunderdome, it doesn't matter if you're on DK, if you're on Ninja, if you're on any other class, you're probably gonna get your shit rocked. Just being real. For a very small percentage of the community, will it make a difference if you're on your main or you're not? And guess what? When the meta changes and there's different classes and Choice doesn't get to play Zerker, and you're on a Musa or you're on a Meiwa, you're gonna go rock his shit. And you're gonna have a little more fun. But I'll say this right now, for the people that do main these classes, and if you start to get cooked by a person that just started playing, don't get salty. Don't get salty and start claiming, oh, PA, balance issues, this and that, oh my god, it's not fair. No, I will say this though, I think they got the way they introduce the whole class restrictions wrong. The way they went about saying it is wrong. And maybe for the first season, they should have just let us have the meta problems. Everybody should have been on Awakened Megu. Everybody should have been on the Lawn or a Zerk or a Meiwa or a Musa. Just these crackhead burst classes that are going to come in, gank you and leave. And you're going to be like, what the F am I supposed to do? Like back in the old days. People run into your spot. You're not paying attention to your minimap. You're cooked. Sorry. Maybe they should have let us experience that. Maybe not. That's not my gripe. My gripe is the way they went about saying it. They made it a statement as, we're doing this so we're not overwhelmed, or, it's a throwback theme, which is irrelevant to a large player base of our community, or just the game in general. I don't know how many people were playing back in 2014. I know nobody in NA was playing back in 2014. And back in Korea, how many people are actually still playing from the beta? I'm not sure, but this throwback theme doesn't make any sense to me and felt like a cop-out. I feel like PA decided that, for balance reasons, this wasn't a good idea. And we should set the precedence that we're not going to have all 28 classes up at the front, and then we're going to balance specific classes with another specific set of classes, so people don't get into these modes where they're like, oh, this class is way too overpowered because it serves one purpose, which this other class doesn't serve that purpose, right? So you can't group those together because it would be a big problem. I also don't think that they had the capability of putting all 28 classes into the roster. I'm assuming that some of these items were custom made for this server and they weren't able to allocate all the files for all the classes up at the front, so that creates another issue, right? If PA would have came out and said, hey, because of balance reasons, we're gonna do a subset of these classes and these classes, and for the first server, we got these 4 so far. We wanted to get this content sooner so you can try it out. We could take that feedback, work on it, and improve on it as the year goes on, which that is great. If you told me, hey, we're gonna get you the hardcore server sooner, we don't have all the classes, but here you go, have fun, I would have been like, well, shit, I'm fine with that. I get to try this new mode. It's not the class that I want to play, but I get to try it sooner. That's great for me. I don't mind going on a Sorc or Ranger or whatever. I think it might be Ranger. I'm debating whether Ranger or Sorc. I don't mind. I'll get more money, especially if the rewards are good. I don't mind that one bit. But they came out and say, for your protection, so you're not overwhelmed, we're doing it this way. And we want to have themes. Instead of saying, some classes don't work with some classes, and we can't put them together because it's a bad experience, which is completely logical. It makes sense. Now that the roster's been out, we know what classes are going to be out there. We have the time to go practice these classes before the hardcore server. We have 2 weeks. If you're going to play these servers, no reason why you should, especially if the rewards are going to be really good. Take advantage of it now. Learn these classes early while you can. And I hope moving forward, they release the classes early, or schedule of like, this month is going to be this classes, this month it's going to be this class, and just plan it out. So we know, okay, I can practice this class and this class, and you just start preparing mentally, because this game is a lot of muscle memory. Just getting warmed up for those reps before it actually comes is going to be beneficial to all of the community. So if you're planning on going in there blind, please don't. Just understand what you're walking into, right? You have people that are in there to grind mobs, and you have people that are in there to grind you. I suggest you look up some guides, you go to PA, you practice a little bit, because you will have to fight. You will have to fight. So, okay, quickly, we're gonna go with some playstyles and how I think the class is gonna be used. Remember, links in the description to all the guides that I found, but we're gonna start off with Berzerker. One of the best mobile tanks in the game. The class offers a lot of movement, a lot of protections, a lot of grabs, and a lot of heals. The class is naturally tanky, it's going to let you go in and go out, and the class is pretty much going to play itself. It's going to get you out of sticky situations. Berzerker will probably be the best PvX class out of all of these, especially considering since it's so mobile in the early game, it's going to be able to get from one area to another and clear these packs super quickly and get more gear and just progress as fast as you can. This class can do 1v1s very well because all of its CCs, all of its grabs, all its damage is not very high. It's super tanky, so even if you fail in your 1v1, you can run away. Most of these other classes won't be able to chase you except for like a warrior that knows what he's doing. In 1vx, this class, like I said, is super mobile. He'll be able to jump in and jump out, do some decent burst damage and stay protected and mobile, and just be able to play on the outskirts, choosing when to engage and when to not, and being a very opportunistic class and taking advantage of moments. Now, like I said, this class is super mobile, be able to get from one pack to another super fast, so the early game will be good. But as the mobs get harder, depending on how hard they get, I don't know if we're getting to Dekia level spots, its usefulness will diminish because this class needs more gear than others because the damage output isn't great compared to some of the classes that we have on this roster. Warrior up next, one of the most balanced classes in the game. This class really doesn't shine in any specific area too much, and that's one of the downsides of this class, but that's okay. The class has amazing burst movement. The burst movement makes this a great mid-range class, allowing you to decent grab at a high level, and as a warrior you have enough damage to really chunk your opponent to force that V or get a kill on that first combo. Especially if you grab some of the more squishier classes, I don't think the warrior will be able to one combo with the Zerk, but a ranger and a sorceress, it definitely will be able to handle those. But this class is not a friendly kit. There's so many Q cancels everywhere. You definitely need to do your homework if you're gonna play this class, because it's not gonna play itself like a Zerk would. It's one of those high ceiling, lower floor type of classes where you have to put in the time to be great at. The AoEs have decent range for PvE and PvP. The class mostly excels on 1v1s or against classes that don't have grabs, but as you start to add more people to its fights, the class usefulness starts to go down compared to some other classes. Its ability to see at range is not the best. It's still useful, like I said, very balanced. But the problem starts to become gaps in the kit and random grabs just coming out of different areas which you're not expecting. This class requires a lot of situational awareness, but I think for the hardcore server, the warrior might be a sneaky good choice. It has a high natural DR passive, considering the mechanics of DR in the game. If our gear doesn't break the natural DR of the warrior, we might be a problem where they're all gonna be tanks. We won't be able to kill them. We'll see though, we'll see. Up next is Ranger. Awakened Ranger brings the most dangerous grab in the game. She has great CC ability, both at range and close up. Extremely high burst movement makes decent grabs on this class a breeze, especially if you're in your dance. People are not expecting it. Boom, she snatched your soul. And once she has you, she has super high burst damage. She's gonna evaporate most kits. Although her combo isn't fully protected, this class is going to be a problem in 1v1s. The downside to this class is that she has a low health pool, low DR, so her ability to trade is not great. Most of her survivability comes for evasiveness, right? Your ability to position yourself in safe areas, and her dance, which lets you move around in full iframe and then just reposition. So you're going to be trying to dodge damage as much as you can and not trade. So in 1vx, the point of the class is, try to be in a safe space, do damage from range, and if people start engaging you, you draw them away into a 1v1 scenario where you can let your grab shine. So you draw the enemy into your dance, and once you got them close enough and they're unsuspecting, boom, they made a mistake, they're cooked. The Suck Ranger brings even more range damage and more ability to see at range, but in 1vx scenarios this class will suffer because he doesn't have no protection. Unless the opponent makes a mistake, you don't really have a counter like the Awakened Ranger, where if they make a mistake for pushing you too much, you can grab them and turn the tide. And now finally Sorceress, one of the most hated classes in the game, and for good reason. Her ability to die and take damage are second to none. There's not really a better class that can annoy you like a Sorc. The class has a plethora of protections, plenty of iframes, and a lot of different skills to keep her protected in a small area. And after recent patches, the class has been introduced with even more damage, now making her more from an annoyance to a real threat. Now if a Sorc is ignored for too long, she will start to cook because she does so much damage now. And she's coming into this roster as one of the best PvE classes on the roster, especially at later modes. Yes, the Zerk will be good early on, but as the game progresses, his ability to do damage goes down. The opposite is true for Sorc. As the game progresses, her ability to do damage goes up. No longer are the mobs dying in one hit. If you need to do more damage, Sorc will do plenty of damage. She'll have a lot of protections to also do so. But the downside is that you need to know what you're doing. Sorc is not a simple class. Even though the mechanics have made it more simple, she's not the easiest class to master. You have to be able to know how to play the class well and position yourself correctly with its AoEs, because they're not just everywhere. They have decent range, but that doesn't mean they're going to hit everything, kind of like a witch or a lawn would. However, like the warrior, don't expect this class to play itself. It has a high skill ceiling, higher floor than the warrior, but it does require a lot of input and a lot of muscle memory to make it done right. So this class is not a new player friendly kit, so if you're going to play Sorc, practice her in BA. My suggestion, if you're coming into this, the Berzerker will be the easiest play itself class. If you just want to go in there and grind for some extra money, Succession Berzerker, super simple. You'll go out there, you'll kill mobs, you'll progress quickly, and if you want to avoid fights, he's the one to do, because if someone comes and grabs you, you probably have enough tankiness to stand up and run away. You have V, to get away. And once you're running, there's no other class that's really going to catch you except like a great warrior or another Zerk. Personally, I won't be going with Berzerker. I might try all the classes if we're allowed to switch classes from 1 to 1. I really do want to try Ranger and Sorc. I'm already started practicing my Sorc. It's not been very good. I hate the way she moves. She kind of moves like a DK a little bit. I'm not a fan of that type of movement. But Awakened Ranger has always had my eye. I always felt like that grab is extremely good. And if I could just learn to do her dance, it could be a real weapon in the right hands. But I'm going into the hardcore server to have fun. I'm 100% going in there for shenanigans and money. I'm not going there to ego check anybody or anything. I'm gonna go out there, make some money. My goal by the end of the month is to understand Sorc and Ranger better, maybe Warrior. I'm not too convinced on that one. But so then I can go on my main and fight those classes better, because I do have troubles fighting against a Sorc or Ranger because I don't know where their catches are. I'm just assuming where gaps might be and they're not there. I just know that the Ranger is dancing forever and the Sorc is untouchable. I know Blue said this was a place to go and show your mastery. I disagree. This is something much better. If this was a mode purely for PvP and to show your mastery of your class, they wouldn't have no mobs there. I think this is a mode where it's more like a playground. Come here, have fun, get rewards that are going to help you to your actual game, whether you just want a PvE or PvP, and at the same time you get to try out a roster of different classes and have fun while doing it. I know I'm excited for it because I get to try out different classes, and if my main wasn't there, I probably wouldn't be doing that. Alright guys, that's a wrap. If you found this helpful at any point, please give a like and a sub. As the updates come in for the hardcore server, I'll try to keep you guys updated. I like to focus a lot on the PvP aspect of the game. It's mostly what I enjoy doing. I'll also be playing Monster Hunter, so if you guys are interested in Monster Hunter Wilds, check that out as well. Other than that, y'all take it easy. Go out there, have some fun, rock it out. Peace.